more at so Peace 104.3 FM Sunia de Shemaima. Yama munyina ha ensama hodo ayaboa no omaimu ni amahodo so ena awie yesin konwa edebremu kase ebo etwa ne ho ede afa OK 101.7 needs 100.9 ni nyina e ship house Abeka junction and crying kumasi adum so hello 101.5 womo so efa kase ebo bi Ghana ha eni amano ne radio stations ko ha ena womo akabom efa kase ebo ato apeti wiase nyina kase ebo bremu ya bobo ni nyina no abo ne tofa kama wo PEACE104.3 na GhanaToday.com ubenya bi akenkan afi ubesan ahwe live e Facebook PEACE104.3 FM na oko YouTube nso a despite media asidaka se enkoma enwumekwe
MTN 4G Plus. And they MTN say can try for say. Your internet na wo pay data na wo pay home. And your MTN 4G Plus na no so choose dia. What you see fastest connectivity, our highest internet speed. Do be tumrika we internet so. Enya dia e be twa no frede bia. Wunya table net no ankasa. And no MTN 4G Plus. MTN say we there for you everywhere you go. Yewo Kafam Ghana Limited. Kafam Ghana Limited no. Ye dia kokodro bisa se any challenger no challenger. Obia ntimi no eba eniema ye di siesie fie. Home and electronic appliances. Ghana has a one and a dia for sne Kafam. Ni bakro no one man enza na one fan kwasoro. Also obi ansa wo fam. Obi ntimi manenza so. Chese obi hu se Kafam ye. Home and electronic appliances team, TV, air conditioner, wallpaper fridges, deep freezers, home theater, bibia uhia ewo fie, ma washing machines, gas cooker, wallpaper Bernard was saying, wallpaper de oven, wallpaper de stand, Kafam Ghana Limited. A 132-inch LED TV, yata so de 599 Ghana cedis. A hona benya Samsung Smart TV for Ubenya gas cooker, 4-burner gas cooker, was stand any shelves, 299 Ghana cities. Wokwa Chimota Nungwa, Woko or Dokwa, Kaneshi Highway, Dakman Junction Hall, Afe Wokwa Kaswa, Woko Tema, Woko Kumase, Woko Takrade, Woko Yarefa, Woko Legon opposite UPSA, Kafam Ghana Limited. Na afimwa and a double mega deal promo ejijimwa for 050 00 105 050 00 106. Kafam say to adie no one chowadie ke ye crowd this way chocolate drink koko so fa so ni nyina wo mpreku de ohia ka ho a ani so hye enwekwada romana kasebweba ensem ni bini Openye oye Tamale Central Mashibedwane edi atu dwase mampanyi wa yamfom so kase pa se wabo justice nin ye boadin so no NMA Chief Justice na omampani ne zentrefo edi ehia ensemben eno de tudwa President on the National House of Chiefs ano togbe afede wono so edi adesede ato amanyukwa wodo anim se womomo ama asumdwe kitaye no ye mmoho ban ne nkuramu yi Omai atemu adwuma judicial service abodwa bi won kwanta e de chira temu nsemu de kire na lawyer Tinubu akodua de nsem bi atodwa ye betesemu acting principal ya the Holy Child College of Education and no what they adesede ato emayu ahodo no anim se obi edofa kwanbone bi so sese otomo na eya emohu na emom nyakokudro na yi panyi bi asotire Mantamu watu di regional reorganization and development so afa be de kire se edom kuma no asemu a woka se yemmo sa mensin anase yemmo sa soya ntunwo no eye won bo apayo Afeya beto dwasa bind the soso akobo form ewo ahafo regional okwa akosi regional coordinating council e de ama won ensem do so kakra ni apone ho de akyeremo wadwen kyerebe for 0544853600 eba ye the green food supplement and some tax farms in Kosia eba ken kind kama e de ama mo wo show Facebook live and also YouTube on so e PEACE104.3 FM live and a despite media e YouTube wadwen me the fahoba e hon so de no ye be ken kind de amamo akenkan fo amote yenken eye me nana ya kunadu menen mame biama kwafo afeya nye brani enti kasebo no enchiremu Omampani Nana Ado Dankwa Kufu Ado and his entrepreneur de share with Jubilee House abankesiem ene ho na ensembisa ahodo beba sese de Omampani kasa ama ne kasa numpo abawiye ye kasa ye yi entrepreneur frase ebusa ne nsem a wode hu moye ne bi eba na ye mohwi na ye nko homransa.
The size of government, I heed the calls. These come from some quarters. I'm not quite sure that it is necessarily the call of everybody. But I believe that the work that this government has done, the output, would have been difficult with a smaller number. The machinery of government in our country is such that if the political direction at the top is not strong, the delivery becomes an issue. And I still stand by the fact that the numbers were necessary for the work that we have done. And that when you look at the output, it would have been difficult to have obtained that output without the numbers. The ambulances. The Minister for Special Development Initiatives, who's been responsible for bringing them, told me about a month, 6 weeks ago, that some of the ambulances were in, should she distribute it? And I said no, she shouldn't. She should wait till they all come in. So one day we can distribute them all at the same time to all 275 constituencies. I saw myself getting into a tremendous amount of issues if you started distributing some and others didn't get it. Fortunately for us, all of them will be in by the end of this month. 160 odd are already in, and the balance are on the high seas will be here by the end of the month. The 300 will be there. On the 6th of January, I will commission them, and then the distribution will take place simultaneously across the country, and nobody's going to accuse me of favoritism, regionalism, this and that and that. So that is the short answer to your question. There's no justification on being parked there. But if I was to send a couple here and note here, I think you know the kind of discourse that would come. So the rate of decline in the CD. Well, first of all, the rate of decline of the depreciation of the CD is much slower than what we saw in the past. That in itself is not a sufficient, is not necessarily the full comfort that we want. All of us are affected by this matter of the CD. But there are structural problems that we don't talk enough about as far as the currency is concerned. And it is time for us to do so. Yes, I believe that the management of the currency in our time has been much more effective than the period before we came. Don't have any doubt about that. And there's plenty of statistics. Mr. Mann is here. He can read off those statistics for you very easily. But nevertheless, the structural problems are those that also we ought to talk about more. We need to be able to export more to earn more money. Our structures, how are they well geared for us to up the exports? That is why some of the initiatives we're taking on the ground, diversifying our basket of cash crops, creating enterprises at the grassroots level that will allow us to grow and make things that we can then also find to export. The more currency that we're able to earn, the stronger our currency will be and the more stable it will be. We cannot escape that. That one is a matter of the market. And we don't want to go back to exchange controls and fix that, because inevitably those are subverted by black marketeers and syndicates and speculators. So we're in the open market system and having to manage it within bounds, but always with this fundamental structural weakness that we have to address, and that is what we're trying to do. The banking crisis. In net terms, some 3,000 odd people have, 3,000 plus odd people have lost their jobs within the banking sector. There were 10,000 odd at the time we intervened. My answer to you is very simple. If we hadn't intervened, all those 10,000 would have gone out of the window. The The situation which we inherited when we came was that the banking system, unregulated or very poor regulation, very poor governance practices amongst the banks, lots and lots of irrecoverable debts, generally a very fragile, undercapitalized banking system would allow it to continue for a day longer, would have brought about the collapse of the financial system in our country, in the banking system, and instead of losing 3,000 jobs, we would have lost 10,000 jobs, apart from the problems that we would have had with a banking system in pieces. I believe that the actions that was taken by the Bank of Ghana, the overdue actions that were taken by the Bank of Ghana with the support of the Ministry of Finance were appropriate. Yes, they have caused some dislocations and some difficulties, but we had no choice. We had no choice. We had in fact delayed in acting, would have been very much more condemned by history as being irresponsible in the face of that crisis than the interventions that we made. It is unfortunate. The banking crisis is the monies that are involved in trying to preserve the savings of 4.5 million Ghanaians, 15, 16 billion cedis. That money could have found better use. Don't let me use the word better use, but I could certainly imagine what it could have done for our roads, for our hospitals, for our schools, instead of it being sunk in trying to shore up the system. It was not part. That was not part of the projections that we made when we were coming to office. Yes, Dr. Baumia, the Vice President, had alerted the country to the fragility of the banking system when we were in opposition. I think he even went so far as to identify that 8 banks were threatened. It turned out that, in fact, 9 banks were what was closed. So his reputation as a prophet is well deserved. But the extent of the damage, the extent of the problem, and the monies that would be required to repair and shore up the system, that one we did not have an idea of it when we came. And as I say, we're talking 15 billion CDs, which has been poured into the system to shore up our financial system, and as well as helping to increase and to the capitalization of the banks. That money could have been spent in other ways that would have brought, if you like, directly more benefits to our people. So I will have to once again disagree with you. I believe that we had no option, and that the manner in which we intervened was absolutely right. We could not have waited any longer. And I've yet to be told of the model of rescue that would have been preferable and more effective than what we did. I think that what we did was essential, and it was right. That the efforts that are being made to make sure that people do not lose out of this exercise are ongoing. The small savings in the savings, loans, and micro system, the provision that has been made makes it possible for 95% of depositors to be guaranteed of their monies. In the banking system too, the access of people to their monies is being guaranteed. In the process, we've had this net fallout in terms of those who are employed in the system. But it is the whole business of can't make omelets without breaking eggs and all of that. It's unfortunate It was not a situation of our creation. We inherited the situation. We inherited the situation because previous regulators of the system were not prepared to act when they should have done so. And that's why the thing grew and grew and the sore became bigger and bigger. We came to try and exorcise it.
Mr. President, thank you. We'll take the next batch of 5. There's already a gentleman behind the microphone, so I'll take 4 more. And I want to stress, let's stick to it, else then I have to interrupt you. Yes, the gentleman in white here. Yes, sir. Latif, please come on. Well, they all end up being in white.
You have to be in white. Money, if they want to, you have to be in white. How will you not be recognized?
They turn it on. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Abid Yenim from Net2 TV. Your party is built on property owning democracy, and this can be possible when you have large stock of affordable homes that makes sense to the ordinary people or working class people. So far, we haven't seen much of that under your government. Is there any hope going forward?
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Kwekudeuru. I work with Kingdom FM under Unique Kingdom Communication. We know, or according to Transparency International, their local chapter, we lose around $3 billion to corruption annually, which is far higher than what we are leveraging our bauxite for under the Sino-Hydro deal. Mr. President, in our country, punishing corruption to serve as deterrent is something we have not been seeing. I want to know the state of investigations and prosecution of some corruption cases or allegations which seems to be dying naturally. Key amongst them are some members of parliament who were alleged to have received double salary under the elsewhere administration. And then the other corruption allegations, like the robbing the assemblies and key brass branding and a host of others.
Okay,
we want to know the state of the investigation and whether you are interested in prosecuting those cases or not. Thank you.
Okay, so let me come to Latif here. Yeah.
My name is Abdul Rahman.
Yeah, if you hold on just a moment. I'm taking a question from the side. Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable. Mr. President, my name is Latif Idris. I report for Joy News. In a few weeks, you'll be 3 years in office. If you look back to those 3 years and the kind of work that you have done over the period, and juxtapose that against the recent Afrobarometer report that says you are not in the position to get a one-touch victory in the 2020 elections. Does that projection by the Afrobarometer discourage you, or you think it's a fair representation of what you have done over the period? Thank you. So the question is, are you discouraged by the Afrobarometer report?
Gomda Daily Guide. The relationship between Ghana and Nigeria is an all-time high. But this all-time highness is being threatened by a few of our compatriots. Guta is gutting it. What are we doing about it? Although the president recently intervened with good counsel to Guta members, it has gone down, but not completely. It is festering. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Okatichi Fifa Mensa from Happy FM. For the purposes of my target audience, may I have your permission to ask my question in Twi? Right. Mr. President, yɛse yɛyɛ ɔman a yɛnyini ɛkɔ yɛnim a yɛpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ sɛ Americafoɔ ɛne UK ne Germany in terms of infrastructure. Nanso ade baako a mu wɔn sɛ yɛyɛ akwan a yɛyɛ akwan in such a way sɛ pure water koraa pae egu so a ɛbɛhohoro nakɔ. Ɔmo nso wɔyɛ a na ɔmo ayɛ akwan yɛtumi di 15, 20, 30 years. Yɛyɛ drainage system a ne yɛayɛ open drain gutters na yɛde fi ayɛ ne ma. Ɔmo nso wɔyɛ a na ɔmo adwene ho ayɛ ɛyɛ underground tunnels. Now the question I'm busa is are we building a temporary Ghana?
Okay, so we busa question.
Okay, the tree. Okay, I will tree allowed before I
wanted the media fracas. Mr. President, yeah, Chile or mine, I Chilima betimi aba abedi ho de anase ye Chile ni biara ama ochina Chilima na be ni bedase.
Mr. President, those are the 5 questions. First, on affordable housing. Second, on the state of prosecutions into some specific matters, double salary, etc. Third is whether or not you are discouraged by the Afrobarometer reports. Fourth is what government is doing about the Guta impasse. And
the
finally,
quality of roads.
Yeah.
Yes. And the quality of roads. Okay, Jim, I would respond in English. It's easier. Yes, I think that it's a legitimate point about the roads that we've built in the past and the various ancillary constructions that should go along with it. I believe that if you are taking note of what is being done now, both matters are being addressed, both the quality as well as the drainage systems of the roads that are being built right around now. You can see for yourselves, even in the roads that are being done here in Accra, Lekma Road, Pukwa, all of them. You can see for yourself that a new approach is being adopted. And I'm hoping that when that is over, we will see that in fact a change has been made, that we're getting a more permanent road infrastructure than we've had up till now. Nigeria-Ghana relations. Yes, this is a very delicate and difficult issue. But I think some things are obvious. Guta are right in their interpretation of the laws of our country. The laws of our country, until they're changed, have banned foreign people, foreigners, from engaging in the retail trade in our country as well as in activities in our markets. They've reserved those for Ghanaians. So if people who are not Ghanaians, who are known not to be Ghanaians, are involved in it, people are entitled to get agitated about it. What we need to do with this agitation is to be more rigid in enforcing the law, more strict about the enforcement of the law. And I'm hoping that the measures that have been put in place with the support of Guta, as they begin to work now, will make it possible and therefore bring down the decibel level. The Nigerians cannot complain about our enforcement of our own laws. They're doing it in their country. So they cannot complain, and there'll be nothing discriminatory about it. If they're Chinese or the Nigerians and everything, all of them should be part and parcel of the same pot in terms of the application of the law. What I think, I'm hoping that we have been able to put some kind of a handle on is people taking the law into their own hands. That is why I made that intervention with the Guta and his leadership, that they cannot take the law into their own hands and by that go out of the way to start closing shops and all of that. That one is, there's no future in that. And if people take the law into their own hands over their own specific grievances, before you know, we have anarchy and we don't have a state. So that's what I'm hoping that they have taken that into account. But at the same time, I think we have the onus on us, the state, to make sure that our laws are properly applied. I don't think we can escape those, and then we're going to make an effort to make sure that those laws are applied. And whilst we're doing this, I am keeping the lines open to our Nigerian brothers and leaders to let them know exactly what it is that we're doing and how we're going about it. But definitely, you will see some action in this area about our effort to. But by the converse, the closure of the border, you haven't brought that up. Should have brought it up. Yes, because that too is a big problem. There were over 300 Ghanaian trucks stuck on the border between Benin and Nigeria. Perishable goods, some of them have had to recall them, others are there going through very difficult circumstances. And we're also making all kinds of efforts to tell the Nigerians that this is not the way forward. We cannot have that as a permanent solution to the issue. So the discussions are on, and I think that the statement you made that the relations are at an all-time high is good. So it is enabling us to have those discussions in a constructive atmosphere, and we can find solutions. I understand some of the problems that are on the Nigerians. You spend a lot of money trying to make yourself self-sufficient in rice, and then you see next door to you large sums of rice are being imported by the country which are twice the amount of rice that any people in Benin can eat. The obvious implication is that this rice is destined for Nigeria, and then the Nigerians are clearly alarmed about it. But we have to find a better solution than border closures to deal with international trade, and I think that all of us need to try and work on that. Well, I hope you followed what has happened in London last night. I'm talking about Afrobarometer projections and polls, etc. I'm not discouraged. I'm not discouraged at all. But because my attitude to polls has never changed. The only poll that matters is the poll on the 7th of December. That's the only poll that matters. I'm not saying that when people do polling, you then just rubbish it. No, that's not my view. You have to look at it, take it into account, analyze it, and see for yourself what is being said. But we know of situations, and there are lots of people did not predict my being here. There were polls that went to say that I couldn't be here. No, I would never be here. I'm here. You then have to worry. You have to worry yourself about one touch, no touch, whatever. But no, I'm not discouraged. It's important for me. What is important is my program and the work that I'm carrying out, because I believe it is beneficial for the people of Ghana. And when the time comes for the Ghanaian people to comment on it, I'm optimistic and go forward to say that I'm confident that it would be a good comment that they'll make on it on the 7th of December next year. So I'm not discouraged by the Afrobarometer poll. The prosecutions. Some things, I think, escape us in our discussions. There are, unfortunately, and I don't take any particular joy in it, but there are things that you cannot escape. We have 25 persons involved in the last administration who are on trial for various acts of malfeasance, financial impropriety, corruption, etc., as we speak. Not who are about to, but who are on trial as we speak. And the amounts of monies involved collectively in those trials, $130 million and some 287 million CDs. We're talking about over together, at today's figures, over 1 billion CDs involved in those trials. So it isn't as if nothing is happening. But then, And you read about it in the papers, applications here. We want to do it within the context of due process. For me, it is extremely important. Is that these allegations that are made against, have been made against some of my appointees. For some people, the allegation is enough to convict people. I don't believe that. Allegations have to be investigated. Either they're investigated at the level of police or whatever other institutions, and they're at the same time in the court. They have to be tried. And in the process of trying people are entitled to make applications to test this or that rulings. All of these things delay cases. But for me, it is a better system than summary trial of people. But people are given, because the thing about due process is that it is only when you are in trouble that you appreciate it. Yes, the rule of law concepts come into play and you appreciate it when you yourself are in problems. Then you see that really being given the opportunity to test this, to test that, to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, all those come into play. So as far as the state of prosecutions are concerned, much is already happening. There's several of the cases that are there. I think you know all about them. Tuwil, Asian, Dukus, Sedna Tamaklo, Balfuboni, Ernest Thompson, Opuni. All those trials are ongoing as we speak. The double salary, the members of parliament. It is not as straightforward an allegation of misappropriation as some people think. There's a whole lot of double accounting, to what extent people were taking money vis-a-vis their emoluments on the Article 70 and all of this. And I'm thinking that unless the thing is really clear-cut, and it hasn't been made clear-cut to me, to arraign a whole lot of parliamentarians, and the list is quite long, to arraign a whole lot of parliamentarians on court on a 50-50 case. For myself, I don't think that we do the public interest of our country a service in that way. So the process of seeing to what extent the set-offs can be there has been ongoing. It's not been easy, but there's a group that is doing that work, and when they finish, we will be in a position to let the country know what the final outcome of the double salary thing is. Yes, a lot of money. You use this figure, $3 billion is lost annually. I don't know how accurate it is, but let us even take it for granted that it is accurate. One of the reasons why it's possible is that we have a poorer system in our country. The capacity of the state to be able to act to protect itself from its own citizens, from foreigners, is relatively weak. And that is why, since I've been in office, one of my major priorities in the fight against corruption has been to see what we can do to strengthen the capacity of the accountability institutions of the country. I speak by that the Parliament itself, the judiciary, SHRAJ, the Office of the Attorney General. These are the accountability institutions and the Auditor General. And significant amounts of money has gone into strengthening their capacity over the 3 years that I've been in office. In 2017, our first year, we increased the allocation to these accountability institutions by 25% over what there was in 2016. And in 2018, we witnessed a 34% increase over the allocation in 2016, and the same in 2019. So in this short period in which I've been in office, we've seen 60 to 70% increase in the budgetary allocations to these accountability institutions to strengthen their capacity to do their work. I mean, take the case of SHRAJ. The operational budget of SHRAJ has increased from 16 million in 2016 to over 40 million in 2020. because that is the path that I believe we have to go to strengthen the capacity of the organizations. When you look at the capacity of our police, of our Office of Attorney General, I mean, these are big sounding titles, Office of Attorney General. When you go into it and you break it down, you find a harassed small group of lawyers, badly paid, trying to do the best they can against a mountain of work. We need to give them more money. We need to pay them better. We need to find more money for them to be able to do their work. All those things are part and parcel of the struggle against corruption. And that path, so long as I'm in office, we're going to continue down that path. We even had the Auditor General. I don't remember if you remember recently the Auditor General making these remarks about how facilities and resources have been given to the Auditor General that had never happened in their history before. In fact, I have the quote. He's asked for, the executive has played its part. I hope you're aware when there was a change of government, the first announcement we had was a ban on procurement of vehicles. Is that not it? But this was the time government gave us the permission to buy 34 vehicles to support the audit service. We had never bought 10 vehicles in the history of the audit service before. These are the measures that we are taking to strengthen the accountability institutions in our country so that they can do their work more effectively. We can continue to shout as much as we like. If the institutions that are meant to deal with corruption don't have the means and the capacity to do so, we'll be whistling in the dark. So, yes, we recognize the deleterious effects of corruption, but the will to do something about it is manifest. And in my case, I'm putting my mouth where my words are. Actually, you finding resources to be able to enable them do their work well. And then I want to come to the final part of this matter. These accusations against my appointees. There is not one allegation that has been leveled against any of them that has not been investigated. They are not investigated by me. I know there's a big cry in NDC circles that I'm Mr. Clear President. I don't clear anybody. I don't have the power to clear anybody because I don't have the power to investigate anybody. I'm not the one, I'm not an investigating agency. I'm a president. I'm an executive leader of the country. I don't do investigations. Investigations are done by SRAS. They're done by the parliament. They're done by the police. And when they give me a report that they have not found any basis for the allegation, I accept it because that is the way that our institutions have to work. And somehow or other, those who make the allegation say that the mere making of the allegation establishes the fact of corruption. I'm a lawyer. I'll never accept that way of doing business. So, the corruption matter, these are the remarks I'd like to make. We need to focus on it. We have, all of us, to commit to doing something about it. There's the personal example, personal measures that we have to take. And in that exercise, I think we're all Ghanaians. We know what goes on in this country. And we all have to be part of the anti-corruption drive. It is not just a matter for the president. Yes, the president plays a very big role. He is the head of the executive of our nation. And he should play the role. But the matter doesn't end just with him. But I think that if the focus is there, if we continue down the path, strengthening the institutions, raising the bar and making sure that the language of honesty, of integrity is a prominent part of our public discourse. And then whenever people fall foul of the law, that they're dealt with. And we do so without any political coloring. The difficulty, somebody comes and then the members of my administration are going to be examined. Then the cry immediately goes up, it's a witch hunt. Witch hunts are the other side of corruption or what? I don't understand. let us all accept that we want a situation where prosecutors, investigators do their work without political coloring. Now, the result of it is that if you are accused, you're given an opportunity for a trial before an independent court of judges of integrity who will examine your case. If you're found guilty, you're found guilty. If you're innocent, you're then set free. I think that is the way we want to go. The affordable housing. I think there are affordable housing projects that are very much on. The Ministry of Works and Housing is falling over itself to initiate several affordable housing schemes, as is also the State Housing Corporation. I went to commission some of the work that they've done recently in Tema. So it's ongoing. The deficit is a lot. We have a housing deficit of over 1 million units. Making a dent on that is not something that is going to be done overnight, but we'll have to work on it systematically. And hopefully soon, we will be in a position to provide more and more and more accommodation for people.
Mr. President, thank you. You're a champion of gender rights. I want to be biased towards the ladies. Apparently, in our earlier selection, we haven't called enough. There was a lady in a spotted dress who we stopped earlier. Yes. There's another lady at the back. If there are ladies, I'll take them now. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. And yes, madam. That will be 5 ladies. And then we'll continue. The President is very gender sensitive. I don't want to get into trouble with him. Yes, madam.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Chaudi Deku from Diaspora Network Television, and I'd like to ask, the EC has boldly declared that if Ghanaians abroad do not vote in the 2020 elections, it will not be because of the EC, a statement that suggests the need for political will beyond the EC. Can you promise that political will to ensure the implementation of ROPA in 2020? Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Beatrice Asamani Savage. I work for the Ghana News Agency. My question is, with regard to fighting corruption, the issue of assets declaration and disqualification plays a key role. So I would like to know what efforts you're doing to get the bill before Parliament passed, and then what the Attorney General recently said about initiating efforts to back that so that the law becomes more effective and progressive. Thank you very much.
Marshall, anyway.
Yes, madam.
My name is Nanama Oseitutu. I work with Kingdom FM in Accra. Mr. President, the opposition NDC says they are ready to engage you or your government on the referendum. Are you ready for them?
Yes, let me take the final two from here.
Mr. President, my name is Nane Sibuat and I work with the Man FM Maritime and Port News. In 2016, 2017, in such a forum, I asked about how your government is going to reduce duties as you were promising and as against your developmental issues. Now, in 2019, we saw a giant step you took by cutting down 50%, the benchmark value, 50% on import duties and 30% on vehicles. And this obviously brought some praise songs from the importers community. But as to how this slash of 50 and 30% is trickling down to the consumers is what I beg to differ, Mr. President. I would like to ask that when you make such policies or such reduction, what or how do you monitor to ensure that consumers, the ordinary members, the ordinary Ghanaians benefit from that? Because as I speak, a bag of rice that was bought around 180 Ghana cedis in 2017 is now being sold around 250 Ghana cedis, even as at this time when there is a 50% slash on import duties? Thank you.
Thank you. Madam.
Good afternoon. My name is Atiewin Imbila Lawson. I'm a journalist with Star FM, part of the EIB network. 14 years ago, 44 Ghanaians were killed in the Gambia. At that time, you were the Minister of Foreign Affairs. This year, it was revealed during the Gambia's Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Committee that the soldiers were acting on the orders of then President Yahya Jammeh. Mr. President, at that time in 2005, when the incident happened, what did you do? And now that you're President of the Republic of Ghana and this new evidence has come to light, what are you going to do about it?
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
That'll be a sixth question, but go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Ama Kwampa. I work with Eclipse Broadcasting Network, EBN. My question is about the year of return. So seeing that the red carpet has been rolled out for the African diaspora for the year of return celebrations, is there a way we can ensure that regardless who is president, Ghana continues to reap the benefits of this great initiative? Thank you.
Beyond the return.
Okay. Well, let me start from the last one, the freshest one. Yes, I think that's an important question because really we ought not to make this thing a one-off. It should be a permanent feature of our outreach, both in terms of using it as a vehicle for solidifying the relations on both sides of the Atlantic, between the Africans on the other side of the Atlantic and ourselves, and also, of course, what it does also for our tourist revenues. So both the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and the Ghana Tourism Authority have also developed a new instrument. They call it Beyond the Year of Return, a birthright, which is a whole set of programs that will attempt to institutionalize the relationship between us on this side and they on in the Americas and in the Caribbean. So the question that you've asked is already being addressed. The Beyond the Year of Return, a birthright, is a program that is being put in place so that we can continue with the momentum that the Year of Return has generated and find a way of institutionalizing the relationship. The things that are already happening apart from this year, for instance, this film that is about to be aired, the film about Joseph, which is a tribute to Tanko Bechebilanti and all that. These are all instruments that are being fashioned to enable us to do what it is that you're seeking. Gambia. The people involved were killed in the Gambia. When I went in 2005, it was to establish the circumstances. I came away with a clear understanding that there was complicity on the part of the then Gambian authorities in what had been done. It was very difficult because the power arrangements then didn't permit the full investigation, but that was my clear understanding. I made the report to the Parliament as to the work that I had done in trying to unearth the problem. Now, these revelations that have come basically should lead the Gambian authorities to instigate the trials. I've spoken to the president of the Gambia on this matter. And his attitude was, the position that we're in is brand new, what we're trying to do, things are still insecure, please give me time. So we'll continue to work with him. Doing something about it here would be to go and get hold of President Jammeh in Malabo and bring him here to Accra. So, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of authority and that kind of power. But in making sure that the authorities in the Gambia try and do something about it, we continue to stress it and talk to them about it. And hopefully, when they feel that the circumstances in their country, the stability they're seeking is more secure, they may be persuaded to act on the matter. The monitoring. Yes, I think it's an important contribution, how we can make sure about the monitoring. But I think that some of these things also have a little bit to do with the depreciation of our currency, which translates itself in this increase in prices. But once again, the structural answers. We should stop importing rice and eat our own rice. Yes, we should stop importing rice and eat our own rice. And I'm hoping that very soon, when we are satisfied about our capacity, we will ban it. Then the matter of increase in the bag of rice was not a rice at all. You eat Ghanaian rice and finish with it. The National Democratic Congress says they're prepared to engage me on the referendum. Well, nobody has told me that. I'm not hearing it for the first time. But I will also investigate it. And we'll see. Maybe a bit late to restore the referendum now. It's happening. The date is what? Tuesday. The original date was Tuesday. And all the formal processes have been withdrawn. But really, I understand it to mean that they're prepared to engage about the future, about the provision. And I'm very, very, very open to that. Very open. We should have that kind of dialogue. The assets declaration, I'm not quite sure I understand what is being proposed in the question about those. Is it a new asset? There is already an assets declaration law. Is it the issue of publishing or what?
The creation of reviewing the assets more often and also creating assets
Is that such a law? I don't believe there's any such bill in Parliament. I'm not aware of any such bill. I mean, there are two things. When you say do the review more often, in principle, it's every 4 years. When you go in, you file, and when the 4 years is going out, you file again, and that provides the review. But you're talking about publishing. To make what shorter? Okay. I'm understanding you better now. But I'm not aware of any such law. We'll find it. But do I support such a law? I think that for instance, on the publication, I was all for it. Even before I came here, I was all for it. The idea that it should be published. A whole lot of very, very important people in Ghana say, no. That one, it cannot happen. It's not the Ghanaian way. We can't have that. And you can imagine what is being suggested, that your nephew knows how much money you have. For some people, it's a prescription for chaos. For difficulties. So all of these things, you have to be able to do it in context. I mean, something like that, if it's happening, for me in Parliament, we have to do it on the basis of a free vote. Everybody to go there and go and do it on the basis of their conscience. But I'm not aware of any such law. Okay. All right. Okay.
And the final question is on the implementation of ROPA.
Yes, I'm not quite sure I understand the statement that is attributed to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. ROPA was passed as far back as President Kufuor's time. And until now, we were told by her predecessors that they didn't believe the machinery existed for the implementation of the law, and until that machinery came to play, they wouldn't implement it, because the administration of elections is a matter of the Electoral Commission. It has nothing to do with the government. And the government comes into it when it comes to budgetary demands from the Electoral Commission. That is the extent. But the system that we have had, and I think it's a good system for all of us, is that presidents are not those who organize elections. We never get any change in what's the case. So that is not so I'm not quite sure I understand what statement she said. It will not be. She has to make up her mind whether she's capable of doing it or not. And I believe there's a committee in place that is examining the feasibility of it as far as this year's election is concerned. That's what I understand to be the reality. But that would be my response.
Mr. President, we'll take a final batch.
Okay.
Mr. Pratt, I saw your hand up earlier. Do you still have a question? Oh, it's been answered already. So I'll take Mr. Pratt. I'll take Obi. I saw the sports group with a hand up here. Songo, I'll take Songo. I think Fortune. I see Bloomberg, echo from Bloomberg. And Mr. Aban. I'll give Mr. Aban a question. To start with you.
Your Excellency, first of all, I don't know if you're aware of the difficulties of the oil company Tullow, and if you're aware, how would that impact on the overall revenue situation in the country? Heads of diplomatic missions of countries which are usually considered your normal allies have been making very uncomplimentary remarks about your government. And given the fact that Ghanaian diplomats cannot do the same, how do you find this situation? And is there anything which can be done about the obvious interference of foreign countries and their representatives in our domestic politics?
Okay, so good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Osei Bonsu. I work with Asempa FM. Mr. President, you made two very profound declarations in the run-up to the 2016 election, and I believe that endeared you to many Ghanaians, and probably that culminated in that historic victory for you in 2016. The first of those declarations was that you are not corrupt, you would never be corrupt, and you would also not preside over a corrupt government. The second was that, and again in expressing your abhorrence for nepotism, you made the point that you would also not build a government of family and friends. 3 years into your administration, Mr. President, can you boldly tell the Ghanaian people that you are not presiding over a corrupt government, and two, that you've not built a government of family and friends? That would be my question. Thank you.
Bloomberg, that's a call, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. President, good afternoon. I'm happy to see you looking very well. I'm very happy. Mr. President, your government has missed your revenue targets in all the 3 budget cycles that you've had since being in government. Now, this has also come on the back of even increased oil output, which has triggered the strong growth that we have seen. Now, with Tullow telling us that they're going to do a considerable cut in crude output for next year, how do you, one, continue with your flagship programs? Now you also talk about 2020 being your year of roads. How do you combine that and still keep your deficit within the limit of 5%?
Thank you. Songo, and then Mr. Aban was the last.
Okay. Mr. President, more fire. The free education, fantastic. I really love it. Now, Blaster School, Chakwesi Apia, was given a target to win the Nations Cup, which he failed. His contract expired this month. What would be your advice to the FA and the Sports Ministry on what to do with regards to whether he stays or not? And personally, do you want him to stay as a Black Stars coach? Now, also you played a key role in getting FIFA to bring in normalization committee to normalize our football. They are done with their work, and now there's a new administration. What do you think should be the direction of football in the country? And Mr. President, also, just a few words from encouragement.
And let others ask their questions.
Okay, Richard Kumi is fighting, defending the IBF lightweight title in US. So, what will be his message to him?
Very well, very well.
More fire.
Mr. President, my name is Dan Kwekuyebua. I work with PEACE FM. One thing that has hindered the development of our local football, domestic football, has been the absence of infrastructure. Your government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, is putting up sports complexes across the country. How much of an effort are you putting into it to ensure that the project will be completed on schedule and will not remain in the green books of the MPP if there are any? Thanks.
Mr. Akan.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. In July 2017, you were appointed the EU Gender Champion. Drawing from the wisdom of the proverb, charity begins at home. It's been 2 years and 5 months since that appointment. Mr. President, what systemic and structural changes have you implemented to improve the lives of women and young girls in Ghana in the face of sexual assault, rape, and gender-based violence? And lest I forget, what has become of your promise to push for the passage of the Affirmative Action Bill into law? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Frank Brefo. I work with Division 1 FM. Per the rundown you gave on prosecutions and corruption, I just want to ask if you are satisfied or happy with the work of the Special Prosecutor.
And finally, Fortune.
Thank you very much. My name is Fortune Alimi. I work with Daily Guide. My question is just a follow-up to the Special Prosecutor. The Special Prosecutor has been in office over 1 year, and the report suggesting that he has so far is dealing with only 2 issues or 2 cases. And the Special Prosecutor himself has come out severally to say that your appointees are not cooperating with him. How are you going to get them to support his operation? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Well, instructions have gone from me to everybody in my government that they have to cooperate with the Special Prosecutor. He made these statements some time ago. I haven't had them repeated recently. And I'm assuming from that, therefore, that the directive that I gave of cooperation is working. But I've made it clear to the Special Prosecutor that if ever there are some kinds of obstacles or barriers that I can help jump and overcome, of course I'm ready and willing to do so. I've not had an opportunity to discuss anything with him in the last few months. I know he's doing his work. He's supposed to be an independent person. He is an independent official. And I'm reluctant to be attempting to micromanage or get involved or be seen to be meddling in his remit. He's a very experienced public official. He's getting on with his work. And all of us will be judges of the quality of that work. So that is what I would say. And it means that when I say I'm happy or unhappy with his work, he's getting on with his work. That's all I can say. The Affirmative Action Bill has been a very controversial bill. It's gone through several ups and downs, and we're hoping that we're now at the last stage of its movement. hopefully, is due to come back to cabinet again. There's been a recent round of stakeholder consultations on it, and is due to come to cabinet again for final review before it is sent back to Parliament, hopefully for enactment. So that's where we are. What have I done about doing gender, enhancing the position of genders? Well, an important part is the school program, opening up the opportunities for girls to be able to pursue their education. And the large numbers of girls who are now going through our senior high school system is an indication that that particular challenge has been well accepted and is being met. We are making efforts to replenish the fund that there is for dealing with victims of rape and of gender violence, and the strictures. And I think that the sanctions that are involved in rape and gender violence are being applied on a daily basis in our courts across the country. I believe that that has to be the way that we go. The efforts to complete the football infrastructure. The sports ministry is doing quite a lot of work in expanding football infrastructure. Stadia are going, mini stadia are being built across the country, and the efforts are being made to make sure that what we have now is in good stead. We're in a position now to have 3 or 4 different stadia which can be used for international engagements. Recently, we were in Cape Coast. Tamale has had one, Kumasi has, and Accra has, and that in itself is a hopeful development. The message to Joseph Kony has to be win the title for Ghana. All of us have to encourage him to do that. The direction of football, I would prefer the direction of football to be handled by the Ghana Football Association. I believe that a fundamental requirement of the FIFA constitution of the world is that politicians and governments stay away from football administration. What we can do is to give maximum support to the new FA, and the FA thinks it would be helpful to discuss with us and get our views, of course. Very much available to it. I thought it was important to bring FIFA into the process when the crisis over the former Ghana Football Association brew, and in the end, it proved to have been a helpful move. They came together with government, established the normalization committee, and then the processes that have led to the establishment of a new football association have taken place. And as far as I'm concerned, I leave it to them to decide on the direction of Ghanaian football. What is the direction we all want? We want the Black Stars, at the very least, to win the Africa Cup again. That's the only direction that we want to get. And then beyond that, as much as possible, also to compete at the global level. Do I want Kwesi Appiah to say it? This is a difficult thing for me to answer. Because if I say yes, it's like I'm putting pressure on the Football Association to renew his contract. And if I say no, then I know for sure they will not be able to do it. So let me keep away from answering that question altogether. The revenue targets and the flagship programs, we've isolated in this 2020 budget the monies that we believe are necessary to fund the flagship programs. And despite the difficulties that have come from the problems to do with tallow that our senior journalist Christy Pratt talked about, I believe that we can confidently say that we'll be in a position to continue funding those programs for 2020. I am certainly not corrupt. I continue to say that I am not corrupt. I have not been corrupt. I'm not taking any money from anybody to give anybody any contract. It's not part of my arrangement. And I am not presiding over a government of family and friends. Yes, there are one or two members of my family in the thing. Mr. Furiata, who is the Minister for Finance, is my cousin. He happened also at the time to have been the person responsible for the NPP fundraising drive. Nobody made any criticism of him when he was in that position. And I don't think it's so difficult for somebody who's been the fundraiser to transform it, to transition into what do you call it, a finance minister. And apart from everything else, as far as I'm concerned, he's amazingly capable. He's been like a magician, having regard to where we were and being able to find a way to raise money for us to do many of the things that we have been able to do. He's been a real brick, and I'm very, very satisfied about the work that he's doing. And he's not there because he's my cousin, because he's there because he is a very capable man. The first investment banker in our country, built a very successful business, and is extremely highly regarded in the world of finance and the investment community in here in Ghana and across the world. And I believe he's doing a yeoman's job for this country. So I don't have any difficulty about that whatsoever. Mr. Pratt, the intervention of diplomats in our internal politics. This is a matter that has been going on for far too long, and all of us have been complicit in it. It may be that when people like you start raising these issues, it would enable us to do something. Because for myself, I think it is improper. I mean, it's not because necessarily the remarks are being directed at me that some of it, as far as I'm concerned, is also on the basis of misinformation. But that is neither here nor there. But I keep wondering, and I wonder whether the High Commission in the Netherlands, or the ambassador in the Netherlands, or in Denmark, or in England, or France, would be the foreign offices of those countries will look very kindly upon them, taking a position on internal domestic issues. But then we know from the world that we have that there's one law for some people and another law for others. And so that is the world in which we're living. And we have for the time. But I believe it's a genuine issue that is being raised. And we should all contribute to the debate on this matter. Yeah. Oh, oh, well, first of all, I want to thank you again very much. I know it was a short notice, but you have been able to come here today. I appreciate it very much that you came in such numbers. It allows me every now and then to see people with whom I used to eat regularly, but who no longer find it necessary to come and visit me, like Kwesi Pratt. My good friend, Kwesi Pratt. I don't know, people don't know that, but he was like a very good buddy of mine. But he doesn't come here anymore because he's on his agenda against my government, so he doesn't. Nevertheless, it's excellent. I'm so happy that all of you came. Let us continue this dialogue amongst ourselves. It's about the future and the welfare of our country and the welfare of our population. Yeah, everybody has a role to play in it. And from your angle, you have an important role. I have an important role. Let's continue to work together. And the most important thing is mutual respect. That so long as we have that with each other, then the rest of it can go. But thank you very much for coming. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and 2020, 4 more for Nana.
Tune it in, turn it up, Peace FM, and rip off the knobs.
Kasi I want to see Akan weni esiha. Enyumere de omampani na na do Bruce no nyina ma me bia makwafo ne abedwafo nkaye no e de bebrem ye kasi e be kire mu a ye mponde tie beta se ne sebesepa ani nkon na haban ne e de abremu na ye trans se de kasi e bo abremu enya anya kasi e bo nso ne wa aboafo sa don hwere ne mum ye wo MTN wo de 4G plus eba internet ye fast na unya internet speed a MTN u choose Turbonet Kafam Ghana Limited. Na home and electronic appliances say papa nyina ye to no. Say de baby a F4 na ye papa na wa warranty. ene ka farm Ghana Limited ye the 599 Ghana cedis ekoto 32-inch LED TV ye the 299 Ghana cedis koto 4 burner gas stove 19 never shelves account home air conditioner 1390 air koto 1.5 horsepower branch bia abakwane niam na efosne baby ade 18 ha nkwanante awianum awia abodansen koka fam preko kokoto papa no de bo ne ye preko 050 00 105 and 050 00 and krobata bi e ben wachemota ba ko onunwa Linux Dynamo odoko Kaneshi Highway wo ben MTN no Accra Central me na ba house afei saudi wani Echiraka Swa Brigade Washing Bay Tama Bakadis Dynamo Committee 4 Legon opposite UPS Oyarefa so Ghana flag Kumasi Crow from Z Takrade Bank of Ghana and Chewa numbers no and 050 00 105 and 050 00 106. Ye cry this way chocolate drink. The ohi aka ho a eni suhie. Enwe kwen na fa ye kase bo ho ka a ye nya farmer. Na ye wo SMS aboafo Samtak Farms, a young Koshiahifie, and the Royal Organic Hills, one was also at the Green Food Supplement and a bought ye chidom. Yabayo, but ye call midin Nana ya kunedu, mene. Ubangada bodi yako.
Mami bi amakwafu.
And then the Amade Yamanaka said, Yadamunina say, O man penism no, and you re, a baby kissing one mamma, Yadamasi.